Hey friends, I'm out on my front porch today and I'm going to show you my miniature garden that I have going and what I've started to grow in it. I am trying to supplement our food budget with some garden produce and we'll see what happens. I'm not the best gardener and I don't claim to be, and I'm also very new to it. I have basically planted green beans, cucumbers, a few herbs, and tomatoes in the past. And that's pretty much what I've grown. But this year I'm trying something new. So let me turn you around here so you can see everything. This is my tiny little garden that I've had in the past. And basically I've grown maybe 2 or 3 tomato plants, a few green beans, and some lettuce and herbs in these little squares around. So that's basil over there and basil here, and then there's some arugula in here, and mostly just enough for me to throw in my salads because nobody else really cares for that as much as I do. But this year I am planting, look, I am planting garlic, and I'm hoping that I can get it to grow. Very, very new to this. You plant garlic in the fall about 30 days before your first frost, or at least I've been told. I just planted that this weekend, and I am going to mulch that. And then in here, I planted some lettuce so we can have maybe a little bit more lettuce before the frost comes. And these are just romaine hearts that I planted out from lettuce that we ate from the refrigerator from the grocery store. And look, I don't know if you can see, but right there, did you see it? It's starting to grow a little bit. I'm so excited. I'm wondering if this is really going to work. I don't know. I've read about it and I've seen it, and I've seen people do it in like a glass on the countertop, but that doesn't work for me. But maybe this will. This is right in the ground. I'm going to water today if it doesn't rain. It's supposed to rain. I'll show you. Can you see? There's not a cloud in the sky because the whole sky is cloudy. It's totally gray today and overcast, and it's kind of been drizzly. So I'm thinking that if it does rain, I won't have to do any watering. But this is what I'm going to try to grow this fall. And then once the lettuce is done, I may try to grow some other stuff in this bed to overwinter, but we will see. For now, I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to add a couple more romaine hearts that I have in the house, and I'm going to see if I can get those to grow. I'm so excited. I'm hoping that the garlic works. I planted 30 heads of garlic, so we shall see. I planted 3 kinds that I got from MI Gardener, seed garlic, and then I planted in this little square right here. I don't know how to label it because it's just garlic from the grocery store. So what I did was I bought a few cloves of garlic just to eat, and then I took the biggest cloves out of that and put those in the ground. So we'll see if that even grows. But hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works out well. Today I'm going to mulch, and hopefully when it rains, it will keep all the moisture in. Taking a quick little garden tour. This is on the side of my house. I have some blueberry bushes. This one produces a ton of blueberries, enough for us to get a big batch of blueberry jam and blueberry butter that I make almost every year. Those are in my freezer right now, just waiting for me to cook them, but I had so much other jam that I was waiting for that. And then I have this new blueberry bush. It's very similar to the last one, same kind. And then these 2 other ones, I'm not sure of the variety, but these 2 are new this year. So I'm hoping that maybe in the next couple of years I have extra blueberries so that we can eat a ton fresh and then have some to can. Up here I planted mulberries, and I don't know what those are going to be like, but we're going to try them. They do not have thorns, which I love, and they look similar to blackberries, and I wonder what they taste like, but they're very little. I'm not sure if this one's going to do anything or not, but then I've got 3 more up here. This one looks beautiful. This one looks like it's taking off and doing great. All this new green foliage is making the plant look super healthy. This one has some new foliage as well. And that one, I'm not sure what's going to happen with it, but we'll see. Hopefully they do well. Hopefully they've rooted in the ground and they're going to do fine. And I will let you know. So stay tuned for future mulberry jam, I guess, is what we're going to have with those. I am definitely all about making the jam just because my kids eat so much peanut butter and jelly. And we've got a few Halloween decorations up here, but I just wanted to show you also, I have decided in our front flower bed to not plant flowers. We had perennials in here, mums and that kind of thing, and just it's not really working for me. Too much weeding and not enough flowers, and it really just didn't do anything for the front of our house. And instead I decided to plant, look, I'm going to show you. That is a baby artichoke. So I decided to plant artichokes, and what I figured is if we get artichokes, great. It's a supplement to our food. I can can them. We can eat them fresh, all those things. And they have beautiful flowers if you forget to pick the vegetable. And since we sometimes travel during the summer, I'm not always here to tend to the garden the way I want to. So there may be some that go to flower, and they'll be beautiful as well. So I have 3 of those planted, you know, right near my Halloween decorations because my kiddos put these out. And we'll see if these winter over and do well in the spring. I was reading up on them, and you're supposed to plant them early enough in the fall so that they winter over and then they come back next year. These are a perennial, and they spread by having shoots off of their main plant. So hopefully that really works, and I can separate them out and have even more plants going forward. I did have this little pot of herbs. It's not looking super healthy, but the rosemary is doing well. There's 2 different kinds in here. I think that's mint, which I'm not a fan of in general, but it is pretty. I've eaten all the cut and picked all of the basil. That was this right here, the basil. There's a tiny bit of thyme left. Again, there's a tiny bit of thyme left. I might see if I can, and this needs to be watered too. I'm hoping that the rain comes today and waters this for me so I don't have to do it. But the thyme right there is a perennial, and that will come back next year if I plant it in the ground, and the sage as well. So I plan on planting this in the ground except for the mint. I'm going to pull that in the basil. But the rosemary is going to go in the ground, the sage is going to go in the ground, and so is the thyme. And I'll get more of that every year. Here are 3 more romaine hearts that I'm going to try to plant in that bed. See if I can get those to grow before we get frost. I'm hoping that that works. These right here, they're not looking too bad. This one's a little wilted. I didn't water them soon enough this week, but these are also artichoke plants that I grew from seed, and I'm hoping to get these in the ground this weekend. And hopefully those overwinter and grow as well. And then I've got this little tiny broccoli plant here, and I don't think it's ever going to get ahead. We don't have enough time, I don't think, to get it to actually grow, but the leaves are going to be delicious. We can eat those in salads. They taste like broccoli. So I'm going to eat those, and I'm going to try some more from seed and see if I can get it to grow. This was just an experiment. I've never grown broccoli before, but clearly I can. It's just we need to start it a little bit earlier or start it later, maybe January, before I can put it in the ground for next year. And we eat a ton of broccoli, so I'm hoping that this works. Even if I get little tiny heads, it's still better than spending money at the grocery store for broccoli all summer. And then we can actually eat the leaves as well in salads and stuff to supplement some of the lettuce. We eat a ton of lettuce. So I'm outside in my backyard, and I just wanted to show you, we just did these raised beds, and they're filled with dirt and cow manure. So it kind of smells weird back here, but this is, for us in Georgia, this is really good soil. My ground has red clay. Let me show you a little sample of that. This is what our normal dirt looks like. So it's like clay, it's hard, and it's red, and nothing grows in it. Nothing. Tried all kinds of things. So this actually looks a lot better than what our ground actually looks like, but it still needs to be amended some. So I'm going to add to this, I'm going to add some more compost and let this compost in place. In this corner right here, I think I'm going to try to grow potatoes to winter over. And I might lose them, I might not, but I've got some potatoes in my pantry right now that have eyes on them and are ready to basically be planted. So I'm going to try that and see if I can get them to winter over. I've heard that it's possible. I'll keep you posted. But yeah, we're going to give it a shot. Might as well. I'm not going to eat them anyway, so I'm just going to plant them in. I need to put them at least 6 inches underground, and then we're going to mulch on top of them. Over here in this corner, I think I'm going to try some kale for the winter, and I've heard that can winter over as well. We are in zone 7B, and the deal with that is that our temperatures are really, really hot in the summer. But we do have frost in the wintertime, and it does snow maybe one day a year here. The snow amounts to maybe, I don't know, a centimeter to a half an inch, but it's craziness when that happens. So I try to, I'm trying to figure out what's going to grow. We're from New Hampshire originally, and I kind of understood how the growing worked up there because so used to it, and that's where we had lived for so long. We've been down here for quite a while, 6 years, and I'm still not quite used to what can and can't grow and how soon I need to plant anything. Although I am fairly new to gardening on a big scale. I have done, like I said, tomatoes, cucumbers, green beans, and a few other summer vegetables. Nothing that I've tried to grow like a real crop or try to supplement our income with. So this is a new challenge for me. We're going to try it. A couple years ago, I planted this tree right here. This is a peach tree. And last year we got 10 peaches off of it. And I don't know how to prune this. So if any of you know anything about trees, could you please leave me a comment below and tell me what I need to do to this tree? Should I cut these shoots off at the bottom? Should I let it bush out and cut the top off? I'm not really sure what to do. So I could use some help with that. And also, is this normal? Is it supposed to look like this? I don't know. It's not. It doesn't. This is kind of how it looks at the end of the summer. We are in the middle of October right now. And this right here is my fig tree. And by tree, I mean tiny little bush. I got 5 figs off of it this year. There are 2 more still on there that I haven't picked yet because they're not ripe. They kind of turn a purpley color when they are ripe. And this plant died all the way back. You can kind of see. I'll show you if I can show you some of the dead, put the dead twigs in there. See them? So the plant died all the way back. I cut it back, and then I got all this new growth this year. So I'm hoping that it's doing okay now and it doesn't die again. I do want to keep it small, though, relatively small. I've seen some fig trees that are gigantic, and I just don't have the space for it. We have like a half an acre. I don't know if this takes over, I'm going to have to move it, and I don't want it to get too big, and then I won't be able to move it. So I'm hoping that I can keep it trimmed. Does anybody know anything about fig trees? So if you do, please leave me a comment below because I really want to know, can I keep this trimmed small? Will it still produce fruit if I do that? What should I do, or should I move it now before it gets too big? It is kind of between my gardens, and I'm pretty sure that it's not going to shade the garden because of the way the sun comes up this way. The sun comes up over this, over this way. So it's not really going to shade my garden, maybe on the sides, but it's not really going to shade too much. It's more just, is it going to be in the way, and should I move it now? It's kind of my question. So it's kind of there and there. There's probably like 3 feet there and 4 feet on this side. Something like that. This is also new to me. Please don't mind the weeds. I'm going to show you my gardening skills are not the greatest, but this is celery that I planted from just a celery root that I had eaten the celery from the grocery store, and then I planted the root, and this is what I have so far. I'm probably going to cut this off and use that in soups and stews. It'll be fine. And then these I have cut quite a few times. These are onion tops. These were onions that I had used, and then I planted the root part in the ground. And then I got green onions from them, basically. And so I cut them several times now to put onions in my salads and soups. And so basically free food. And I have the crates on the grate over the top because the rabbits and my dogs dig them up and chew them. So there we go. I have 2 of these raised beds, which amounts to about, I don't know, they're 12 feet in the back, 12 feet on the sides, and then they are 4 feet wide. So this is, or maybe, yeah, they're 4 feet. So that's 4 feet. And this is 4 feet in the middle here. This part I know is 8 feet long, about 4 feet right here, 4 feet wide here, 4 feet wide here, 12 feet in the back, and 12 feet along the sides. And I've got 2 of them. So I want to see how much produce I can make grow in this area. next year. So this year what I'm going to do is mulch everything, put some compost in it, let it compost in place, and mulch everything really well. Try the potatoes to overseed, try the kale to overseed, and see how that goes. If you guys want to see what happens in the spring, I will show you and give you an update on everything, whether I have failures or not, and keep you posted. So I'm super excited to show you guys what happens in these gardens back here. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to succeed or not, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to try potatoes in bags. I'm going to try some broccoli. Thought about other brassicas, but I'm not sure I have enough room for everything that I want to plant. So we'll see how it goes and on what scale we're going to actually be able to do stuff. I do want enough tomatoes that I can can a few and still eat some. So let's see what I have for room back here. I'm hoping I can trellis them along the back, and that will give me more space to actually grow things underneath. If I plant the tomatoes in the very back, if you can kind of see, you know, back, how am I doing this now? This way. Back here along the fence, the sun goes this way, and so hopefully the tomatoes won't shade anything else. So we'll see how that goes. I just want to be able to try a few things and see what actually works. I just discovered that I really like beets, and I don't really like them cooked. I actually like them raw. And so I'm hoping that I can grow some beets, even though I don't know if I'll be successful or not. We'll see. Everybody tells me they're super easy to grow, so hopefully the soil is good enough for those. Sugar snap peas would be great. I'm not into the shelling peas because I don't want to have to shell all the peas, and they're usually cheap enough in the frozen section, and that's all we eat is frozen peas anyway. So I'm not planning on doing that, but I am planning on doing some sugar snap peas, a few broccoli, because I love them. I would love to try cauliflower just because it's really expensive in the store, and we do eat some of that. Potatoes for sure, and I have containers that I have bought for those, and I'm going to do those in these bags. Peppers, cucumbers. I want to pickle some cucumbers, and I want to do a ton of green beans, maybe a spring and a fall crop, because we eat a ton of green beans. They freeze great. And you can pickle them, which I also love. So we're going to try that as well. And then the garlic and maybe some onions. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know what I have for room, how much room I really have. I would like to also do maybe a couple of winter squash, some spaghetti squash really, and see if I can get that to grow. I'm thinking maybe if I plant it along the edge and then it hangs over the side, that might be okay. But we'll see how it goes. I just don't want, we have a lawn service where we live because we live in an HOA, and I don't want them to mow over my plants, so we'll have to see what actually happens. Maybe at that point I'll mulch in this area and keep the lawnmowers out, but we shall see. And from here you can kind of see how close my fig tree is to both planters. And yeah, I need some help with that, guys. I need to know if I should move that fig tree now or if I should just wait and see what happens. All right. You guys were out here in the garden with me a couple of days ago when I planted this, and I just wanted to show you an update because I'm super excited. You have to look at this. Hold on. Look, little baby mustard plants are coming up. I think that might be either a mustard plant or an arugula. It's hard to tell at this point because it's really little. And look, the middle of that romaine lettuce is starting to grow, and I planted a couple more out here, and I am going to plant a row of beets, like a little, maybe like 3 beets, to see if I can get those to grow. I'm really not sure if I have enough time, but we shall see. I am kind of excited because it looks like that garlic is a little bit too high. I'll push that down. The day after I filmed, it started to pour. And then at night, we had this giant thunderstorm, and I thought all the seeds were going to be washed away and I wasn't going to get anything. And clearly not everything has come up here, but I do have quite a bit of growth in the mustard area. So those are super fast to germinate. And I'm kind of excited to see if I can get things to grow. Oh, look, another little arugula. Oh, I have 2, and then a little tiny butter crunch lettuce. And doesn't look like anything here in the green leaf yet, but we will see if I can get anything to grow. The first thing I'm going to do, I filled up these egg cartons with some soil that I had,
And I
so
am
that
going to,
and damp. I got it damp so that I don't have to water it after. It's probably a little bit too damp. It is paper and it will flow through to the bottom, so there's really good drainage. They're biodegradable. I can put them right into the ground, and I'm going to set them over in front of my window. So we're going to try these two different kinds of leeks, and I'm going to do 12 and 12. Gonna work. 12 and 15. And we'll see if I can get these to germinate. I need a little something to poke a hole. I think what I'm going to do is just drop the seed on top of the dirt and then poke a hole in this chopstick. See if that works. But I just want to put one, if I can, in each one. I don't want to put too many. I don't want to waste the seeds. In case this doesn't work, I still want to be able to plant these in the spring. So I'm hoping that I can save the seed and it still will germinate. Hopefully this works. We shall see. Both of these varieties are supposed to be cold tolerant. And then again, I'm in zone 7B, so we shall see what happens here. Okay, so I'm gonna poke those in just a little bit. Black on black, so that's super fun for somebody who can't see up close like me. But let's hope I can get, maybe half to germinate, and then I'll plant them out. Once they get big enough, I'll plant them outside. Okay, so now I need to plant 1, 2, 3, 12. I think I did 15 of these, and we'll do 12 of the other. And the first batch was American flag leek. And this one is called Karen, maybe? We'll see what happens. Say some of these names here. Looks like enough seeds, so we'll see if I can get one per, oops. Maybe I'll do 3 and then poke them in. I'm worried that I'm going to forget. Where did the stick go? Like I said, this is definitely an experiment. If it doesn't work, we'll try again in the spring. I'm going to try to see if I can winter these over. And supposedly that will give me a better harvest and an earlier harvest. And I'm going to plant these actually in my front flower bed under a tree that's very little right now, because I feel like I don't want to plant a bunch of flowers in my front yard. I'm thinking I really want more fruits and vegetables, which makes more sense. And if they can be pretty, I think onions in general are very pretty, and when they go to flower, they're pretty. So even if I forget to pick these, we'll still have some pretty flowers in the front flower bed, but it'll definitely be working for me instead of against me. And I won't have to keep buying plants or take care of flowers, and then I have less space to grow food. And I just want to make sure you guys know that this is not a tutorial on how to do this. This is just me documenting what I'm doing, first of all, so I don't forget what I'm doing, and secondly, to see what actually works this year and what doesn't work, and hopefully this will help me kind of decide if this is how we want to go in the future, if I want to do different things. But I'm using free egg cartons that I have from the grocery store. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I'm thinking I can cut these up. I don't have to transplant them, and then they will biodegrade right in the soil, so I don't have to do anything. It's kind of like one of those peat moss cups. We'll see if it works. I'll let you know. And I'm hoping that I can do this with leeks. I don't know. I've never transplanted leeks before. I've never tried to grow leeks, so we'll see what happens. I honestly thought that storm we had the other night was going to wash everything away, and it looks like it didn't, but I'm going to mulch now just to make sure that we don't have any more issues. Hopefully this will keep the moisture in and help the seeds not wash away. And I also decided that I'm not planting the beets in here. I've got plenty of other garden space on the other side of the fence, and I'm going to try to plant even more beets if I can. That looks good. We'll see what comes up. I'll film that again in a couple of weeks and let you know. Okay, I am going to first plant potatoes in this area, and then I'm going to plant kale on top of it so that I don't use up more space. And that way, the rest of this garden, I'm going to try to, this winter, put more compost in and get the soil better for spring. But I'm going to try this area right here for potatoes. And I know that the soil's not perfect. It's not bad. It's, you know, it's got cow manure in it and stuff, but there's still a lot of clay in it. We live in Georgia and there's lots of clay in our soil. So even when it's nutrient dense, it still pools at the top and gets hard. If I find anything that's really clumpy or really hard to grow in, I'm going to try to add a little bit of peat to this and see if I can get it to be a little better. All right, here's a little peat I'm going to work in. And I've read that it doesn't matter how deep you bury potatoes, they're still going to grow if they don't die. So you can bury them right up near the surface and it will, they'll still grow potatoes down deep, or you can bury them deeper and they'll still grow. They'll still find their way to the top and grow leaves. So, I don't know, does that make them indeterminate vegetables? I don't know. They don't have a limit on how high they or how tall they grow. I'm not sure. I was going to bury these about 6 inches deep to try to avoid some of the frost. This is what I'm going to do. I have 9 potatoes, so I'm just going to do it to there, right to there. So this one little square, I'm going to dig it all up, get all the rock stuff out, and then we'll just add some peat to this, and we're good. Hopefully every year that I do this makes the soil a little bit better. We'll see. So keep growing a flower bed, but the good thing about this garden bed is that I can reach everywhere, which was kind of the point of building it this way. Yeah, the potatoes get planted every foot. So just in the middle of each one of these, and I'm going to try to do it about 6 inches down so that we avoid some of the frost, hopefully. And then these are the ones that have started to sprout. So here I have some with eyes, and the eyes go up. This is gonna, at least what I read. I don't know for sure. But from what I've read, this is the part that's gonna grow the plant. So I would say this shovel is about 6 inches. So kind of like that. see, I need to dig down deeper because the potato itself is big. And I have bags that I'm going to grow potatoes in, so if this doesn't work, it's okay. This is just an experiment. So that's the first one. And ideally, I don't want these to grow any foliage. Foliage? I don't know. I don't want them to grow right now. I really just want them to stay dormant. So I might be doing this a little bit too early. But I'm anxious to try things. So I'll know for next year if this doesn't work. And also they're growing in my pantry anyway. I don't want them to rot. So let's use them. So it looks like it's going to kind of go like that. Put it there. And then that's 2 down. That one's going to go like that. And then we'll just see which ones do well, which ones don't. And if they do nothing, that's okay too. They were just kind of hanging out in my pantry, growing eyes. I thought I'd try it. If these don't grow, I'll get some seed potatoes in the spring and plant those out in bags that I had bought. I'm going to try that because I want to kind of keep them in the bags for as long as I can up near the house so that I only have to dig them up when we need them. And maybe they can be stored like that. I don't know. We're going to try it. It's always a gamble when you try new things. But hey, live and learn. Okay. Just a little bit of homework. And once that's done, you don't want to go play outside. Maybe at some point I can get them to like gardening as well. And they can help me some. Okay, so we planted 8 potatoes. I want to keep track of that. 8 potatoes. And I just did this to kind of keep track. And then we're going to kind of stick it right here in the middle of that. So I know that this square right here is potatoes. And you guys are going to be my kind of diary of what we're doing. I'm going to mark everything up, I hope, when I get back inside. All right, so now that's potatoes. I want to plant kale over there. Maybe I'll do beets right here in the middle. So the potatoes kind of went to here, and I have a 4-foot section. So I could do 2 rows of beets right here and see if they come up. I don't want to plant too many because I want to save some for the spring. And I just don't know what I'm doing. Clearly, I don't know how to plant beets because I've done it before and nothing happened. Ever. And I planted beets 2 or 3 times in different places. I planted in New Hampshire once or twice, and I planted them here. And I didn't even know I liked beets, but I want to grow them so I could try them. And now that I do know that I like them, I really like them raw. And I'd like to dig them up and try them and see if I can grow my own. So I'm going to amend the soil right here in this area from, I don't know, where we're here to here, and plant 2 rows of beets here. these seeds are any good. Maybe, I don't know. I tried planting them in the spring and nothing happened. So who knows? Could just be me. Maybe I didn't have enough growing time. It gets hot here, so it could be I planted them too late. Planted them too late now too on the other end. I don't know. I like these seeds here. You can definitely see them. Beets are a good sized seed. Still need my glasses, but at least I can tell when I'm planting them. Lettuce seeds, I can't see at all. Even with glasses on. Okay. The kale kind of over on this side, it looks like it's getting a little bit of shade from this tree in the early afternoon, and maybe the kale will benefit from that since it likes it cooler. But it is frost hardy, so we'll see how it goes. My sprayer broke here, so I was trying to use the hose and put my finger over it to spray all the vegetables, but that clearly is not working, so I ended up getting the watering can out. Okay, well, it's getting kind of late. My kids are home and it's a little hectic and I need to start dinner, so I am going to clean up my mess and put everything away, and I think that's going to be it for today. And maybe tomorrow I will get the artichokes in the ground planted, and I will keep you guys up to date and let you know how things are progressing in this fall garden. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't like it. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, so you can see what happens in the future videos with this garden. And I hope to see you in the next video.